Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Wednesday, middle of the work week. Hopefully you're having a decent start, decent first half of the work week. Let's take a look at I-20. Look at the forecast made possible by Flying Tiger Brewery and Pizza Bar. Normal kitchen hours tonight. Kitchen will shut down at 9:30. I say you should get the meatballs as an appetizer today. If you have never had Flying Tiger's meatballs, I still think they are perhaps the best meatballs on the planet. Maybe. I haven't seen anything to the contrary yet. As you take a look at I-20, and you may see me there later this evening. We have mom and dad have a babysitter tonight. Thanks BotBot for being a babysitter. So who knows? You may see us there for just a little bit. Take a look at I-20 across the region. Volume is starting to pick up. It's 5:30. This shouldn't be that big of a surprise across the area, so exercise caution. I'm not seeing any kind of significant interruptions or anything like that. Check up power outages, and how about these improvements? And again, kudos to the linemen and the service workers who have been restoring power nonstop for the last, week and a half or so. I know there's still a lot of folks that are without power, and they're frustrated, but the number continues to shrink, and it continues to shrink on a pretty regular basis. Look at high temperatures from the day. 53 in Monroe, 53 in Ruston. I know you're probably looking on the far right-hand side of the map and going, what on the good Lord's green earth has happened in northeastern Mississippi? They were doing something to some temperature. Basically, they had a temperature sensor spike, and I think the graphics software recognize that as an actual temperature. It was like 150 degrees or something like that. It wasn't really that, but something weird happened, and I think the graphics kind of flipped out and saw it too. It was funny, though. Saw it earlier today. Again, these are unofficial high temperatures for the day. Current temperatures are generally in the 40s and 50s. 52 in Monroe, 47 in El Dorado, 41 in Greenville. Most of us should drop below freezing tonight, and probably going to be there for at least a couple of hours. It's a fairly dry environment in place, and it's been breezy. Winds out of the north. Those winds should die down as the sun sets, probably into the 5 to 10 mile an hour range, probably even becoming calm through the overnight hours. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty quick look at the forecast because not a whole lot's changed in the general thinking from where we were midday, early in the day, and we're settling into another quiet pattern. And again, if you're new to this platform, we don't want to really waste too much time when the weather is quiet, or if we are wasting time, we're at least letting you know that the weather's quiet and that we're just wasting time and just hanging out and visiting, because sometimes I get a little sidetracked. Radar made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. Deb says they still have ice covering the yard in Simsboro and really tired of looking at it. First off, I don't blame you, because I had someone on one of my pages, or on my Facebook page earlier today, say something as you take a look at the satellite radar, and we do have another round of cloud cover making its way through. I believe she was in her 80s and said she had never remembered seeing sleet or freezing rain or anything that heavy in her whole time here, in all of her wonderful years here, and that she didn't remember the ice being around, like hanging around for as long as this. So again, the long-standing duration of the ice pack across the region in whatever form has been staggering, and probably the longest we've seen ice linger in this part of the country in dozens of years, if not maybe over hundreds of years. I don't know. And I'm not going to get into the whole specifics on all of that stuff, because again, once you get outside of about 120 years, record keeping gets really, really unreliable. But I'm not going to say, well, it is kind of unprecedented. I can't remember a time where we've had ice on the ground in this area for that long of a period of time. It's wild stuff. Maybe I'm just being over-exaggerative. That's a possibility too. But I know everybody's sick of seeing it. Check a futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports. I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe shows that little round of cloud cover that we're dealing with currently. It'll be on its way out later tonight. Winds return to the southwest, leading the warming trend that will carry us through Friday. A lot of us could hit the 70-degree mark on Friday. And then we bring another cold front through. And that cold front could be a little punchy, meaning that it could actually have some cool air associated with it. When we were looking at this boundary earlier, it looked like it was going to just be a wind shift, and that was it. But it now looks as though it could actually have some cooler air through the day on Saturday, probably punching us back into the upper 50s to near 60 for a high. And then another front will move through the area on Sunday. So here's a look at the mid-level winds and a look at low-level temperatures, not surface temperatures, but low-level temperatures. And again, colder air has now entrenched itself, at least temporarily, across the eastern half of the United States in the wake of yesterday's cold front and the reinforcing shot of cooler air that's in. So we got this big cold air mass that's in place, but it's not going to hang out really long because we're going to enjoy these northerly and northwesterly winds in the upper level pattern for a brief period of time. Then a ridge of high pressure moves into control across the central United States. It was basically bottled up over the Intermountain West. It was this big hump in the jet stream, and then it's going to move east, move its way into the central United States. That's going to kind of bring us a very quiet pattern through the weekend and into the early parts of next week. We get into next week, and eventually we will bring a storm system through the region, probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. But the big question is how strong that storm system will be, whether it brings thunderstorms or whether it's just a rainmaker. But what you can also notice is that we've really bottled up all of the cold air to the north. Storm tracks are really making their way through the region and not tapping into any kind of cold air and sending. We're not seeing any big pattern changes that just allow for a jailbreak of cold air from northwest to southeast. Most of what we're seeing is just subtle subtropical fluctuations in moisture and then storm systems that are making their way through a relatively amplified pattern. Amplified meaning that we're seeing storm systems starting next week and beyond in a relatively frequent, in a relatively high frequency. So that could set us up for the end part of the month to be a little bit stormy. Not necessarily in terms of severe weather, but at least bringing showers and storms in somewhat more frequently. But again, what the other takeaway from it is that we likely trend above normal through the middle parts of this month. Here's a look at the temperature outlook over the next 6 to 10 days. The precip outlook over the next 6 to 10 days kind of gives us an equal shot of being above average or below average precip-wise. But it does point us to being above average temperature-wise. Lows tonight near the freezing mark. Again, upper 20s are certainly a possibility, especially across southern Arkansas. Winds will be light out of the north. Mid-50s for highs tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Winds out of the northwest as we go through the day. 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Near 70 for a high on Friday. But again, behind Friday's front, we drop to near 60. Then back to near 70 for Sunday. Of course, it won't be a flat 70, 60, 70 for Friday, Saturday, Sunday across the area. Some will see upper 50s on Saturday. Some will see low 60s. Those temperatures just vary depending on location. Of course, you can see the forecast for your specific location on the Digital Weather Desk app. And you can find that, links to download that, at digitalweatherdesk.com. But 70s do appear possible, if not likely, for the early parts of next week. How about that? Special shout out to my friends at Century Next Bank in Ruston. Got to see the CNext Ruston family, main branch. And I'm going to the Century Next group in Crossit. And Janet just said we have some ice on our roads in Crossit. So your ears must have been burning. Or is it your ears burning when somebody's talking about you? I think so. But either way, coming to see folks in Ashley County next week, Wednesday. So that'll be cool. And they had a packed house when they said it was one of the they do like a Wednesday huddle with all their staff, and I got to speak to the staff, and they said it was one of the biggest turnouts. So I was very honored. And I got this guy. He's like a little stress. So when people don't read everything I say about sleep and ice totals, and I get really frustrated, now I have something. So he just hangs out there. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. Available for Apple and Android users. Fishing game comes out at 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, it is ears burning. Good. I couldn't remember what it was. And I just used that phrase the other day. Check us out on the app. Forecast has just been refreshed. Didn't change much because nothing really needed to be changed that much. I'll see you in the morning with a look at the forecast as we start to pivot toward the second half of the week. And like I said, maybe you'll see me at Flying Tiger tonight. Because like I said, we got a babysitter. Woo! Wednesday night. Let's party. Woo! I'm just kidding. Maybe in bed by 9. Maybe 8:45. I don't know. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being part of this community, and I'll see you in the morning.